All right, this is part two. You women. Let's start up by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All right, this is Bahashem Racha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. You just heard the name of this one. That's the part two. You women, or you women. Now, I this happened to come across my feed, and I was watching it because I watched the Willie D live, and Willie D feels that this whole thing is BS with the Hell's Angels going down there. This is a Issacharite brother, and his father, who was a gang member, if I heard him correctly, his father was cool with the Hell's Angels. You know, they used to come by the crib when he was a little boy, so on and so forth. And he was breaking it down as to that whole stuff is just propaganda that's being pushed out there. And eventually he said because they need a distraction too for, the up and coming elections, And he was pretty much saying that if they really wanted to put that whole thing down, right, if something like that was really happening with this MS-13 gang, he said they have charters that are 5-10 minutes away from that area where this alleged situation was going on, and he was saying that it could be possibly be that they were, collecting money from somebody because they owed them money, or could have been anything, it could have been an isolated incident. And he said, why didn't they show a whole bunch of videos of that whole complex and them going to every one of them and taking them down, so you can watch the video, watch the whole thing, and, I believe it's also BS, but nevertheless, this is going to serve, as a future thing, because the scriptures speak about, that they're going to have swords in their hands and go into these different, into these different cities, and the people in the cities are going to be troubled, and they already have the means for that already here. Now, right on cue, this dude, I don't like that dude at all. Patrick Humphrey, I just don't like that guy. He just rubs me the wrong way. He seems like real fake to me. He does a lot of videos and about situations, and here he comes. Well, there's another situation where there's I guess another gang situation where they took over another place. And like I said, to me, he comes off as real fake. Now I could be wrong, but I just don't like the guy. But right after I watched his video came up, and and it was that, he's reporting on how these gangs are again in another city doing the same thing, blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of propaganda going out there. A lot of these media pundits, alternative media pundits, they're also insiders. So you got to watch out. And even now, they got a lot of AI shit going up, Rambo, or Carlitos Way 3, or whatever the case may be, a Scarface Part 2, a lot of shit going up. And at first I was like, man, why would they do that? But then I thought about it and said, wait a minute, that shit ain't real. That's some AI shit that they're pushing out there. A lot of propaganda, a lot of lies, a lot of disinformation is going out. You have a lot of videos going up now on health, to where they say don't eat strawberries because they cause dementia. Don't eat cucumbers because they cause C to the ANCER. And there's a lot of shit that's going on, to where if you're on a quest searching for truth or searching for some type of natural healing, you're going to also be led astray in the wrong way. So keep your eyes open, stay prayed up, so that the Lord, can guide and protect you in these times that are coming. Now, concerning these women, once again, the lamentation of their women, they're going to be in a bad case. All right, because the cities will be shut down. These cities were primarily set up for these women. Because the word city, or the word, these major cities are known as metropolis. A metropolis is a compound word which means mother city. Metro is mother, polis is city. The polis, Polyutma, uh, uh, all that goes back to the word city. All right, citizenship, so on and so forth. And these cities that are set up that way are really set up for women. That's why the majority of people that get into it is mostly women and metrosexual men. Because you notice, of course, the alphabet people. Now you notice when a manly man, anyways, he'll go to a store. He just wants to go in there, get what he got to get, and get the fuck out. He don't want to spend hours and hours shop. Women, they're going to they'll go into a mall, let's say, and they'll be there for hours. They'll spend like a whole day in the mall just shopping, and they're cool with that. A man, he just wants to go into a place and get what he got to get as quick as he can and get the hell out as quick as he can. And he pretty much already has set in his mind what he's going to buy. He's, most men are not impulsive buyers, even though, you might be looking for something specifically and you might see something, oh, this is pretty good deal. Let me get that. But for the most part, men are not impulsive buyers like that. They'll just go in, get what they got to get and get out. So these cities, these malls and things of that nature were set up for women. Now you notice when you go into any clothing store, right? It'll be both men and women clothing store. And as soon as you walk in, you see nothing but women's clothing. And you might have a little corner somewhere in the back somewhere where they'll have the men's clothing. Then you'll say, okay, I need some sneakers or something, some shoes or whatever. Then they got the rack with women's shoes, and you don't even see no men's shoes. You see, because this world, this whole consumer settings, for lack of better words, was set up for the women. All right. So when these cities are shut down, women are going to be the ones that's going to really be in some serious trouble. So when we go to 2 Ezra 5:1, it says, nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the days shall come, because they are coming still. Now remember, this was written back, around 400, 500 BC or so. And we are witnessing the collapse of societies worldwide, and where the money system or the economy is not doing very good. It's not doing well at all. And if you know anything about the word economy just simply means house management. And when you have a city established, or you have a home, or whatever the case may be, a business, you have the people that run the maintenance of that business or that city or that home or whatever the case may be, or that building, in order for the upkeep. And you would allot those different individuals a certain amount of money to run the business properly. So this economy is not doing that well. Therefore everything is starting to implode within itself, and there's a lot of layoffs going off. A lot of stuff is happening to where people's lives are becoming more and more difficult. And eventually what they want to do is they want to phase everything out and bring in the new system, which would be a digital system. And that's why they're doing that. One time you had the 3G, then you had the 4G. The 3G was fine. Then all of a sudden, when the 4G came out, the 3G started acting up, because they did that on purpose. When the 5G came out, the 4G started acting up, because the 4G was supposed to be the top shit. But then when they started setting up the 5G system, now the 4G system don't work properly. Now, you have a phone that you have unlimited data, right? But then when you're at home or somebody else's home connected to their Wi-Fi, the phone works fine. But then when you go outside, the shit just starts buffering, and it won't really work properly unless you're in the Wi-Fi. Or sometimes you have to wait a while, and eventually it'll come on. So it's like a lot of stuff being done like that for inconvenience, because they want to bring in the new system. And once this new system comes in order to bring the new system in, there has to be a lot of anarchy and chaos in these streets, because the scriptures speak about it. But one of their mottos, the international banking models, or the Illuminati's motto, is order out of chaos, or ordo ab chaos. And that's what they want to bring. They want to establish a new world order, but they have to bring in chaos first to destroy the old world to bring in the new world. So it says, nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number. Why? Because these devils want to control everyone and everybody on the planet. All right. And the way of truth shall be hidden, because the way of truth is out right now. You got a lot of yaysayers. Well, you got a very few yaysayers and a whole lot of naysayers, scoffers, and people that talk crap, about about the truth. But there's gonna come a point where they're gonna want the truth. Yeah, brother. That's old news. But the bank glitches, false deposits, and withdrawals, right? But that's something that just recently happened. And now people that have been taking advantage of that system are going to be charged with felonies and going to jail because they did that shit on purpose, But hey, that's good that the brother's keeping his eye on what's going on. It says, "And the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be what? Barren of faith." So eventually, people are not going to know what to do. They have the answers right now, but the answers are going to be taken away. Remember, the Lord told Ezekiel that he was going to make his tongue cleave to the roof of his mouth, and eventually he would let it be loosed. It says, but iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest, like the scriptures say, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So when this iniquity abounds and abounds, the love of many is going to wax cold. And it's going to be very cold when society finally collapses, or that thou hast heard long ago, because it's going to increase. It says, and the land that thou seest now to have root, these different cities, shall thou see wasted suddenly. See? So you're not going to have, this is why even now, when you go to these different cities, I was speaking once again to Elder Malcolm. I believe he was saying that at the camp, at one time, or no, it might have been after camp, that Chicago was a bustling city. You had a lot of people on the sidewalk walking back and forth, Now that stuff is dwindling. I said, yeah, same thing with New York. In New York, you could tell the difference between a real New Yorker and somebody that was a foreigner or a tourist. Because the tourists and the foreigners, they'll be walking on the sidewalk with all that traffic bumping into each other. But a real New Yorker will go on the street and walk in the street around all that shit. That's unheard of now. That's unheard of to see the streets of New York, filled, especially down in Manhattan, filled with people on the sidewalks. Why? Because the Lord is slowly but surely cutting off this place. It says, but if the Most High grant thee to live, that thou shalt see after the third trumpet that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night and the moon thrice in the day. Right. And we're seeing that now. We're seeing the actual moon and the sun shining brightly, which is what? This knowledge. But this knowledge is going to be shut down from most people. And blood shall drop out of the wood, and the stone shall give its voice, and the people shall be troubled. See? Because the truth came out. The Lord's word doesn't go out void. It takes root. Once the word is spoken, it starts to have a ripple effect, right? And these different buildings and these different, the whole infrastructure of America is not going to be, they're not going to be able to keep up with the upkeep. It's hard enough right now. Every time you turn around in the cities you go to, every fucking city and every major street and highway has construction going on. Shit's falling off of buildings, hitting people, cranes falling off, skyscrapers crashing down the streets below, and the people are going to be troubled because the cities are going to be shut down. And even he shall rule whom they look not for that dwell upon the earth. And who's that? That's Esau. Esau is ruling. He's the basis of men. No one would have ever thought that they would be ruling, as insignificant as they were, as demonic as they were. But we see it happening right now. And the fowl shall take their flight away together, and the sodomite sea shall cast out fish and make a noise in the night. Yeah, and this is Esau's, Renaissance, Christianity, but also it goes into their false wisdom and false narratives that they've been pushing on the world. Everyone is infected by it. That's why the Lord called it Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. It says, which many have not known, but they shall all hear the voice thereof. Right, because the scriptures say that the world wandered after the beast. You know, they wandered after the beast. They followed behind this devil. And eventually they got caught up. That's why it says the nations have drunk of the wine, therefore the nations are mad. It says there shall be a confusion. I'm sorry. There shall be a confusion also in many places. Why? Because right now things still have somewhat of order to it, but you slowly but surely seeing what the smash and grabs and the thefts going on in these different major cities, and that's all being done on purpose. And San Francisco was like a blueprint to the shutting down of all these major cities. I was out there in 2017, and the place where the brothers parked, which was like an alley, there was when you walked out of the car, you smelled shit and piss, everything. There were homeless people that lived in that area, and it was bad, but it was still thriving. But it was getting worse. Now that shit is like shut down. A lot of different major stores are shut down. And places that were getting robbed, the different convenience stores and the different pharmacies and all that, they were getting shut down. They shut them down because, they were losing too much money. They couldn't keep up with the payments that, the high rents plus the people with stealing stuff from them. So they say, man, fuck this, we out of here. So that's happening worldwide. I'm sorry, that's happening nationwide right now among these other cities, New York City and other places that are being affected the same way. Stores are leaving because of the theft problem. They got stuff that's behind cases where you got to unlock it in order to get it. And eventually that is like a blueprint also for the future, because when you have the MOTB and you go into a particular store, first of all, you got to have the MOTB to get in there. Now, I forgot the name of that store that they have. I believe it was an Amazon store, but there's nobody in there, no clerks. You just walk in, and grab what you want to get, and then you pay yourself off, something like that. But that's the wave of the future. So if you don't have the MOTB, first and foremost, you can't get into these stores. And second of all, you have to also not just have it to get into the store, but in order to get the stuff that's behind, that's in there, you may have to scan your hand, to open up these doors to get any of that stuff. And you can't take more. Well, I'm gonna take 3 of them. I only pay for 1. No, because when you take 3, it's going to be deducted from your chip. You see? So they're setting the whole system in place like that. And they're doing this on purpose. That's why back in 2020, 2021, they destroyed a lot of these mom and pop businesses and they just had the big box stores, which are owned by the international bankers, and now they're doing the same thing, shutting everything down so that when the system is rebooted, they can have this digital system in place. And that's it. Yep. Just walk out at Amazon, fresh once. Okay, fresh ones. That's it. Yep. Inside the store, customers can stop like normal. Anything they take off the shelf is automatically added to their virtual cart. And anything they put back on the shelf is automatically added to their virtual cart. And anything they put back on the shelf comes out of the virtual cart. That's right. So they got the system in place, but they have to have an example, or they have to have something that happened to justify bringing this whole system back in place. You see, and that's why you have all of these smash and grabs and thefts and the shutting down. And notice it's in the major cities that is happening. Why? They're doing that on purpose. All these major cities now are filled with bums, homeless people that can't even afford, to live in apartments anymore. They got set up tents and all of that, tent cities. Why do you think that is? That's because they shutting the system down. And when they reboot, guess what? You know, you got your UBIs, you know, you got your, you know, the different places where they're going to be able to set these people up. And when they set them up, what do you think that people are going to do? They're homeless out there. They ain't got shit. They're going to give them free money. You know, they're going to give them free, you know, a place to live, so on and so forth, food, amenities. And all they have to do is take the micro C-HIP. Most people are going to go for it. Most people are going to be deceived into receiving this thing. There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters, which is pretty much is deformed children. You know, it's not really talking about monsters, you know, these little demons, but you could apply it to these demons too. So it says the beast shall change their places, right? Because now you're starting to see wild animals coming out of the jungle, coming out of the forest, coming out of these different places, habitats, to come into people's neighborhoods, you know, to eat. All right. It says, and salt water shall be found in the sweet, right? Mixing of water. Now, there was I don't know if it was a video or a still picture where they show you where the Pacific meets the Atlantic, and there's something in there, right? I don't know if it's the makeup of the water or what it is, or if there's something in there that won't allow those two to mix with each other. I believe that is, you know, and that's the same thing with other bodies of water. There's something there where the Lord set it up, when he set it up to where they can't cross into each other or something like that. You know, the Lord set up this earth perfectly, man. You know, but you're going to have a point where because Esau, remember, he's destroying everything. When you pull out all these different shellfish and unclean fish out of the waters, the system is not going to work like it should. So it's going to fall apart. This is why you see the pollution going on. Because if you had, you know, in these different bodies of water where there's all this pollution, if you had a bunch of catfish and, you know, and shrimp and lobsters and all these different eels and all of that you're not supposed to eat, the waters would stay clean. But these devils keep pulling them out because people eat that shit and they make money off of that shit. You know? It says, and all friends shall destroy one another, right? You're going to have people that were cool with each other that are going to turn against each other. Why? Because there's going to be a collapse in society. And who do you think is going to be the most affected by this? These women. You know, then shall wit hide itself, right? Because they're not going to have answers. They're not going to have answers. These women are not going to have answers. And we're joined by the Elder D-Mash. Shalom, my brother. Shabakata. You look like you reset. You know, and these women, they're going to be the ones that's going to be in, there's some smoothie in there for you. They're going to be the ones that's going to suffer the most, because they're the ones that benefit the most from this society. And understanding withdraw itself into a secret chamber. So what do you think that's going to bring? That's going to bring it's going to bring a desperate mind state. And when you look up that word desperate, people are going to be so desperate that they're going to do whatever they got to do. All morals, all, you know, kindness, all, you know, all, courteousness that they have for each other is going to be out the window.
And you see that you hear about that singer Ari Lennox? It's a singer named Ari Lennox. She's talking about how she's in trouble with the IRS.
Oh yeah.
And how she basically ready to slut herself out. You know, to get the money to pay back the IRS, man. You know.
Well, she already slutted herself out, but she going to become more slutty. Hey, and that's why the main ones are going to be in trouble, these women. Because, all right, you got that option now. You got your OnlyFans. You got your different sites where these women could sell their box and make money, and they live good. Now you got women that were doing that at one time. Now they're where? They're homeless. You know, because when you're doing that, most times these women don't take care of themselves. So eventually they get out of shape, and then nobody want to pay for that. You know? So things are going to get hard for these women. And because a real man, when shit gets hard, he just knuckles down and does what he got to do. He figures it out like men have been doing for ages, figuring shit out. But these women can't do that. But they've been given that false illusion that they can do that through feminism. It says, and all friends shall destroy one another, then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into its secret chambers, desperation, and shall be sought of many, and yet not be found. See? It shall be sought of many, and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied upon the earth. Yeah, so this is what's going to happen. Shit is going to fall apart, and these people are going to want to try to get it together, but they're not going to be able to. Why? Because they're not going to have the mental capacity, the answers to be able to move in this society that's coming.
Yeah, and a lot of people are pacified. Jake doesn't have a mindset to endure any hardness in his life.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Jakes have been softened through the distractions of this life, through the faith, the false hope. So when all that's stripped away, they're gonna be destitute because that's what they put their future into. That's what they put their survival into. So when all else fails, then Jake don't, that's why the scriptures say the woman gonna sit up on the ground and cry, man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and that's gonna lead her to the next, because I got another precept that we're gonna go into, Lord's will, and then that's gonna lead us to this one picture that goes back, or this one coin, I'm giving it away, that goes back to 70 AD. Yeah, you brothers that's already there know. But the elder Malcolm said, he said, Khan, many men don't have the money for 304s anymore. Their box hustle is drying up. Yep, that's right. So, for those of you that don't know what a 304 is, those are the numbers on the keyboard, so to speak, that spell out HOE. All right, let's see. 2nd Ezra 6 and 2nd Ezra 6 and 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. See? And that's why they had their whole disruption of the supply chain. Remember back in 2021, they disrupted that. Yep. Well, that really has never got back the way it should be.
Nope.
Because they're doing that on purpose. Control the people by controlling the food. See? And they know that people can go without a lot of things, but one thing people cannot go with is without food and water.
Yep.
For very long.
Yeah, so that's why all these things are happening where there's all these food scares, like this listeria scare.
Yep.
And then they're talking about bird flu, and then they're talking about they got to kill chicken, they got to kill more food. So food is already expensive. Now all of a sudden, all these things are coming out where they got to destroy the food. Oh, another thing. Not only are they destroying the food and fucking with the farmers, but they're destroying the natural habitats of where you can go get food. There's all kind of fucking spills in the rivers.
Yep.
From train derailments and all kind of bullshit. Like we got a what would be a nice little river right here up the street, and like sometimes when we're out walking to the trail, you can see stuff being dumped into the river, man.
Yep. Even now when you walk past it, because there's one way on the trail you walk, and you can smell like the septic system.
Yeah.
But then when you walk on, when you used to walk on a particular way by the river, you couldn't smell that, but now you smell that same smell coming out of that river.
Yeah, it smells bad, man.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Like I was riding my bike on the street, on the street past there, and I can smell it all the way over there.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So this devil is destroying everything, but that's okay, because the Lord is going to tighten his ass up for that.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, and the trumpet shall give a sound. Shall the trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. You see? And that's why you see all this stuff happening. Because Yahushua said that when he, before he comes back, there's going to be wars and rumors of wars and pestilence and all these things. Earthquakes in diverse places and all of that. Let's see what else. Verse 24. At that time shall friend fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Yeah, because you're going to have droughts. Mm-hmm. And they holding back to, this particular, if you get caught watering your lawn, they give you a fine.
Yeah.
And some other places, they rationing out water. You can only use your water from this time to that time. Mm-hmm. And then there's not enough water to irrigate these different crops. So what you think is gonna happen? Those crops are gonna die out. Wow. All systematic, man. They're shutting it down. All right. So it says. So let's go back to 2 Ezra 5:11. One land shall ask another and say, "Is righteousness that maketh the man righteous going through thee?" And it shall say, "No." So why would they ask this? Is righteousness that maketh the man righteous going through thee? And they're going to say no. Why? Because things are going to get hard for people. They're not going to have any understanding, as we read in the 9th verse. As wit is going to hide itself. Desperation is going to come in. So you know what that's going to do? When people are in these hard times, they're going to think upon the Most High and want to know, what can I do, or what am I supposed to do to get right with the Lord so I can be delivered from this situation? And there ain't going to be nothing you could do, because the answers are out here right now. But you just ain't listening. You ain't, taking heed. You ain't receiving what the Lord is putting down. Therefore, when the time comes, you're not going to have the minerals or the answers or the protection to get by.
Yeah, if the government was sending leaflets or send out messages tell you, look, you need to evacuate a certain area because something bad is going to happen. Say, for instance, there's some type of contaminant in the soil that's going to get to the water supply. That's like a warning going out for you to get out of that position, that place you're in. This is the same thing. We're doing this work. This is the warning going out for you for the elect to wake up and come out of that mindset that they're in.
Yeah.
So if people don't heed the people that the Lord set up, they're gonna heed the warning. But everybody else, they're gonna deny the warning until it becomes a reality. And then the people that say, "Oh, that's just the government talking stuff," and then if it really happened, then they're gonna drink that water and they're gonna croak.
That's it.
That's
it. They're gonna croak. CROAK. It says, at the same time shall men hope. Hope for what? Deliverance, food, water, for things to go back to normal.
Yep.
To be able to continue on their quest in life.
Yep.
They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. You see?
Yeah.
Because it's going to be like it says in Amos. They're going to flee from a bear and run into a lion.
Yep.
Or when you flee from the lion, you put your hand on the wall and a snake will bite you.
Yep.
Meaning every possible way that to frustrate a person from accomplishing anything is going to happen to you.
Yeah. And people think a real man is a man that know how to make money. But the thing is, all throughout history, there's been uprising and downfall in societies. So that should let you know right there that whatever society or kingdom that's on top, it's not going to always last. All of these nations, these great kingdoms of the past, they never one of them considered that kingdom is not going to last. You know, but those kingdoms are gone. We've been going through a lot of history. The Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Greeks, the Romans. All those were great civilizations that had power in the world, man. That had great authority.
Yep.
But all those kingdoms are gone now. Where are they now? So you mean to tell me America? And then here it is. We see America fall.
Yes.
You gotta be totally deaf and dumb. I mean, deaf and blind to not see the fall of this place, man. But you know what? The thing is, they told you that you can desire to have positive vibes only, and you don't have to look at the news because it's bad news. You don't have to look and see what's going on in the world. But that's a stupid mistake, man. No, positive vibes only. I don't want to watch the news because it's more like the bad news. Hey, and then now when some shit get right up on you and slap you in the face, then you don't even have the know-it-all to watch your surroundings. So now when some shit get right up on you, you're gonna be Mr. What's going on? What's going on? And you're gonna die real quick. But at the same time, here the word is going out. The word is going out, man. You know, the Lord's got a spirit on us to be consistent and more consistent.
Yep.
You know, and the people that don't listen or don't take heed are going to be without excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows who we are, man.
Yeah. Oh, matter of fact, since you said that, shit, at the camp in Chicago.
Oh yeah.
Right after camp, you know, when we closed up, you know, there was this one Ephraimite brother that walked down by the camp.
Yeah.
And he saluted, brother. Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Shem El Shai Brakatham.
And we didn't have our garments on either.
Nah.
Mm-hmm.
We were just standing there. And then all of a sudden, when he passed by, he said, hey, Shalom, Apostle Ryan Blob, Yahweh Shai Brakatham, double honors. I was like, hey, Shalom, brother. Hey, I was like speechless. I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
And then the Spirit been having me say this a lot too to brothers, man, that we don't realize how impactful, you know, these lessons that we're doing out to the world are to these jakes.
I was gonna do a lesson on that.
Yeah.
That's a spirit. I was gonna do that's the name of a sit down lesson I'm working on right now.
Yeah.
Hey man, we don't know the impact that we have on people's lives, man.
Yeah.
You know, like you may do, you know, not to get off subject, but you may do videos. You may think, oh man, that video. It wasn't, you know, like to you, it was like, man, it was just, you know, I feel like I was just winging it. I feel
rambling,
you know, I was saying the same thing over, but another brother may come up to you and say the same video touched his life.
Yeah.
You know, so hey man, don't let Satan get in your mind, man. And, you know, now in that spirit.
Yeah, don't let Satan throw you off your pivot.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, but you know, like be not over righteous much, man. I think because you ain't willing to, you know, great historical facts and all of this and all that information. There's brothers bringing out that information, but what you may have to say may touch somebody, man.
Yeah, your
personal testimony may touch somebody. You know, anything, man. You know, because people are looking for answers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, remember the scripture say, give heed to reading, to warn,
attendance,
give attendance to I can't think of the wording right now.
Let me go.
I believe that's in First Timothy 4 and around 12. Thirteen. Right. Till I come, give attendance to reading. That's 1 Timothy 4:13. Till I come, give attendance to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine. Mm-hmm. And exhortation is when you're instilling, the spirit into your men to pretty much, to keep on going forward, to keep pushing them forward. And those exhortations help. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to rebuke, reprove, but also you have to exhort.
Yeah.
When it's time for exhortation, you got to exhort, because if you break a man down, you got to be able to build them back up too.
Absolutely.
Doctrine, history, breakdowns, prophecies, but exhortation is one of those things. And these videos, we may not realize it because, like the elder said, sometimes you feel like, man, I feel like I'm just rambling, like I'm just, But then he's like he said, it'll have a great impact on somebody else. You know. So let me go to Second Ezra's 16 and 32. And the earth shall be laid waste. So these women, when this time happens, they're going to be the main ones that's going to suffer. And the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns. Why? Because you're going to have a point where you're not going to be able, society's not going to be able to function. Look at the movie I Am Legend, right? What happened? The city had collapsed, and there was nobody to mow the lawn. There was nobody to keep the upkeep of these different buildings and the streets. And what happened? Shit was grown over. You had grass damn near growing on the sidewalks, bushes coming out of everywhere, thorns, thistles, because nobody was maintaining it. So the society, when society collapses, you're going to run into situations like that. It says, because no man shall travel there through. The virgins shall mourn. Yeah, because you got to remember. See, when you see Jake, don't realize you living in these cities, but these cities were once a forest. They had trees and grass and shrubs and flowers and all that growing. And it don't stop growing. It's just that these devils done laid shit over it, and that's what has stunted the growth. But you still see them coming through the cracks of the concrete, and stuff like that. So if no one was there to maintain that maintain it, shrubs and vines and bushes and everything will grow all over the place. It says, because no man shall travel it through. The virgins shall mourn. See, that's these women having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. For their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. So they're going to be in a bad case. And these women are going to catch it the worst. It says, in the wars, their bridegrooms, in the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. So what do you think these women are going to do when that happens?
Yeah.
They're going to be looking for someone to protect them. Yep. They're going to be looking for some stability. Yep. You were about to say something?
No, all this pride spirit is going to be cast down. It's prideful. Oh, you gotta, and a lot of women are seeing this trick now, like where every woman wants a man that's making $100,000. But you know what? A lot of men that live comfortable lives lose a lot of their manhood and that comfort.
Yep.
So when hard times come, they don't know how to survive because they've been cushioned.
Yeah. From
any type of survival tactics. So in hard times, those so-called men that are out here well-to-do and when the money system crashes, they're gonna lead you right to destruction.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna lead you right to death. Well, because they're gonna consistently be thinking about that life that they had, and then when they go to enslave you with this C-hip.
Yep.
When they go to enslave you, because that's straight up. That's gonna be a straight system of slavery. We control everything now. No side hustling. No helping one another. Like right now, I can pull out a few dollars if I see a man on the an Israelite on the street that I just want some water. I can pull out a few dollars, but that's gonna be gone. Yep. The ability to help people is dwindling.
Yeah.
And
I respected Jake, a homeless Jake that tells you, look, man, I'm just trying to get something to drink. I want a beer or a shot or something.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah, me too.
And I'll give it to him if I got it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I understand. He's in a fucked up situation.
Yeah.
So he needs something to help, to help take the edge off.
Yeah. So
I'd rather they tell me that than tell me some bullshit and go use it for something else.
Yeah.
So now before I read that, right? Before I read anymore, in the war shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. That's when Isaiah 4:1 is going to come in. Mm-hmm. So Isaiah 3:25, right? Because when you read to the end of it, the very next chapter tells you what's going to happen with these women when society collapses and their men are destroyed in these wars. And it's not just necessarily meaning that they're going to be, even though you're going to have a lot of Jakes that's going to be in the war overseas, but you're going to have a war that's going to go on here in America. Civil wars, class wars, race wars, right? It says, Isaiah 3:25, thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. So she being desolate shall sit upon the ground, reminded me of 70 AD with a coin called Judea Capta, which you had the Emperor Vespasian minted on one side, and on the other side, it looked like it's a Roman soldier near, I believe this is a palm tree, and then you had a woman, an Israelite woman, sitting down on the ground. Because what is it? This is in commemoration of the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD. So when the society collapses and these women get messed up, they're going to be sitting on the ground lamenting.
Yep.
They're going to be brought down to a low state. That inflated, demonic, proud spirit is going to be deflated.
Yeah, because they ain't going to have nowhere to go. Look, if there's people raiding the cities, that means home is not safe.
Yep.
Hey, imagine not being able to go home. Then where you gonna go? And a lot of people don't, like you said, a lot of people don't know how to survive out here without the cushions of this life.
Right.
So what are they gonna do? They're not gonna know what to do. They're just gonna sit on the ground because they're not gonna know what to do. They're not gonna know. Look, I need to try to find a way to purify water. I need to try to find a way to build a fire.
Right.
I need to try to, I need to try to make some shelter.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna know. They're not gonna know how to do that. To do that. And then the people watch TV and think, oh, it's just in me to do this. Now you watch TV and you see a woman beat up 10 guys, and you think in your mind, yeah, I probably can beat up 10 dudes too. Yeah. But the time is gonna come where it's a show and proof. It's gonna slap a lot of people in the face. When you see these cities getting raided, and you looking down the street and you see a woman getting her pants snatched off, you know your house is down the street. You can't go that way.
Right.
So what's gonna happen? You're gonna end up somewhere just sitting on the ground looking crazy.
Yeah, because if you go down that way, your taco might get stuffed.
Yeah. yeah. And he's not gonna be 6 foot tall making 3 figures.
Right. That's right. Hey, and I don't know if they went up there and told you, but they ain't no Harold's Chicken Shack in the forest. You ain't gonna be able to pull up to an Exxon and fill your gas tank, and get you some Black and Milds, some Swisher Sweets.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna be able to do none of that. They ain't got no Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or Burger King, in the jungle.
Yeah, so a lot of people when voluntarily go into concentration camps, they're gonna be like, you know what, just lock me up. I don't care. Because another thing, people don't have faith too, man. That people don't have faith in the Lord.
God.
So whatever the government tells them to do, they're gonna do it. The government tells you to take this implantable device. A lot of people gonna say, okay. They're gonna. Hey, that's why a lot of people say, yeah, I ain't gonna take more. Yeah. I ain't gonna take nothing. I ain't gonna take it. And then when you're not in a desperate situation now, you don't know.
Right.
A lot of you don't know what desperation feels like.
Right.
Hey, you think that because your food stamps is 2 days away and you running out of food, that's desperation. You think because your check you get paid at the end of the week. And you running a little low. You gotta borrow stuff. You gotta call somebody and borrow a couple dollars. You think that's desperation? Right.
Yeah, but it ain't. You got an extra day. You gotta wait before you get your check.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody, yep, that's right. Two elders. One of them said a great humbling is coming real soon, and that's facts. Mm-hmm. And then the elder Zakba put a stuffed taco in a smiley face. All right, so once they sit upon the ground because they're desolate, right, because of these wars and losing these men, that's when Isaiah 4:1 is going to take place. Isaiah 4:1, and in that day, what day? the day of great calamity, the day of great mourning, the day of great distress, the day, of great confusion and this collapse, and no food and no water. It says, in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man. They ain't gonna be like, nah, I ain't sharing no man. That's not for me. They're gonna be willing to do whatever it takes in order to be protected. Saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel, meaning they'll provide. We don't need any of that. We just need protection. We just need, guidance. We'll cook for you. We'll clean for you. We'll do whatever it is you want. They'll even let you stuff their taco. It says, only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Why? Because when these women are out here in the streets, out here, they're going to be in a bad case. So they're going to be looking for somewhere to hide, somewhere to something to protect them, someone to cover them. Mm-hmm. Like the elder put the scripture up, Isaiah 32:2. And a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind. What does the wind represent? Destruction. It represents woes and calamities. It says, and a covert from, and eventually the nuclear destruction, and a covert from the tempest, right? A place to hide. Mm. As rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. Yeah.
Hey, a lot of these so-called thug men that you like, they're gonna be proven to be bitches. A lot of these men that make money, these pretty boy dudes, they're gonna prove to be unsuccessful. Man, hey, survive the times is coming. You gotta be a little rough. You gotta be kind of, hey, the Lord. That's why the Lord said, endure hardness as a good soldier, because being in this truth, we're always being thrust into uncomfortable situations to make our skin tougher. We're always being thrust into situations, like sometimes that shit don't feel good. You get your car fixed, now you're sick. You get healed from being sick. Now you got money problems. You get that in order, now your woman gone. You get that in order, now you might have to move because some niggas in the name them move next door. Damn. Your car gets broken into. So we're constantly thrust into these uncomfortable situations so we can grow mentally. Yep. So we can grow so we're able, our endurance is up. Yeah. And that's why it's even harder now. The mental battles are harder. You know what I'm saying? Another thing, man, I feel like I'm not even really attached to nothing in this world. Everything that I like to do, I used to like to do, I don't really care about anymore, except for this truth. Yeah. But everything other than that, like, okay, it's another day, okay. The only thing that I care about is the Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, the brotherhood, and doing this work, man. That's it. Outside of that, everything else is like, nah. Oh well. Even things that I used to like to do. I used to like to go to the jazz bar. I don't care. I don't really care about that no more. People sending me like stuff, jazz events coming, and I just be looking at it like, okay. Because our minds are dwelling on the kingdom right now. This place is getting more and more vexing, and then when you're in a situation that's getting more and more vexing, you start to get a little desensitized from that place. You start to go a little numb, and that's the point that we're all reaching. That's why we're being stretched, to the point of like we feel like you're gonna break, and then the Lord come give you a little reprieve, and then you stretch back out to the point where you feel like you're gonna break, and then the Lord gives you a little rest, because the Lord is strengthening our endurance. Yep.
Break them down or build them up.
Yep, and your faith. Yeah, and your faith, because when you're going through these situations, who always brings you out? Yahweh Bashim Yahushua always makes a way for us to make it through these situations, man.
Facts.
So our faith is being strengthened up. Our endurance is being strengthened up. So in the times to come, we're not going to be like other men who haven't been built up. All of this ass whooping.
Yeah, that's it.
All this ass whooping that we're getting right now, It's gonna show how strong we are. And we're gonna be shocked at how weak these people are.
Yeah.
When real trouble arises.
So when the Lord kicks your ass, don't take that ass whipping personal.
Yeah.
Real quick, the brother Isaiah says, Isaiah 13:12, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir, which is the men of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Not just any regular man. He has to be an Israelite first and foremost, and then he has to be a man of the elect. That's what's going to be more precious than fine gold. Because in this society, men are looked at as trash.
Yeah.
Right? But in that day, the men of the Lord, the same ones that have been misused and mistreated, and laughed at and ridiculed and all that, they're going to be the ones that's going to be the most sought after.
Absolutely.
Ain't that irony for you?
Yeah. Those are the ones that are going to stand out. Those because our level of endurance is a lot higher than these people, man.
Mm-hmm. Even though we may not realize it.
Yeah, because that's why sometimes I get vexed. I look at they got the trolley carts downtown.
Oh man!
And I see these people drinking and loud. Like sometimes you get vexed and you look at these people and say these people having a wonderful time. We catching hell, because man, we catching that hell because the Lord is keeping us in a position where we're kind of uncomfortable. That uncomfortability, man, we're gonna be used to it. We're gonna be more used to discomfort. Everybody else is running away from discomfort, but we're sitting in it. Hey, first you read the scriptures. Everything in this world vexes you. So that's a constant strain on the mind and the body. You try to live a righteous life, you try to be a righteous man, and it seems like people just play you. And then sometimes if you get mad and you want the Lord to just do something to them, and it seems like don't nothing get done to them.
You get more blessed.
Yeah, the nigga get it raised up.
But that's all right. That's only temporary.
Yeah, because you know why? Because the Lord is not setting you up like that. If I tell you, look, yeah, we got a war coming next month. We got people that's coming to invade this country next month. Here's the itinerary. We're gonna go to the water park every day. That's not gonna prepare you for the war that's coming.
Right.
But but if every day before that war, because the greatest part of this war is gonna be mental. Hey, every day before that war, I'm stretching your mind. I'm stretching your mind, your endurance, your temperance. It's being consistently tested. Then when the war comes, you're gonna be prepared, man. You're gonna be prepared, man. So that's why the scriptures say, be not entangled with the affairs of this life. Because when we come into this truth, we supposed to endure hardness. But at the end of that hardness is a crown of life. At the end of that endurance is an eternal gift, man.
Mm-hmm.
For those that endure, man. Like so, what would you rather? Would you rather enjoy this temporal life that's gonna pass away, or would you rather sacrifice this life that's gonna pass away for a greater life to come?
That's right.
Everybody that works, right? You work for retirement. You work so that eventually you don't have to fucking work anymore. It's the same thing for the truth. We're working so eventually we don't have to anymore. So we're working so when the Lord comes back, you know what I'm saying? He'll accept us into that eternal rest. He'll say, man, you fulfilled the job that I gave you, man. I'm proud of you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying, get the fuck out of my face.
Yep.
You disgust me.
Depart from me, you that work iniquity.
Yeah. So, it's when you think about it in the long term, it's worth it. It's worth going through this hell we go through, man. It's worth it, man. Everything in this life, in this world is separate from our spirits. So we're not gonna be comfortable any fucking way.
Yep. Comfort is the enemy.
Yep. So it's worth enduring the pangs that we go through. You know? And then you want to purge away the evil that brought us into this position anyway. So hey, we just get to the point where you just accept it.
That's it. Hey, so I'm gonna read these couple of scriptures that the brother put up. I believe the brother from the Virgin Islands, JMS Straight Gate Bar. Ecclesiastes 39:26. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grapes, and oil and clothing. All these things are for good to the godly, so to the sinners they are turned into evil. Why? Because when the time comes, as a scripture elder apostle, man, he did a video on this years ago in the book of Ezekiel. It was called the evil arrows of famine. Ezekiel 5:16, when I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, and which I will send to destroy you, and I will increase the famine upon you, and will break your staff of bread. So we're going through hell right now, being purged. They're not going through anything. So the Lord is not chastening them, because when the time comes, the destruction and these calamities are going to be what's going to purge them. You know, we're being purged now because this is what's coming. That another brother put the scripture earlier, seek ye the Lord while he may be found, because there's going to come a point where the Lord is not going to be found, you know. But the ones that are part of the elect, they're going to be all right. They're going to be protected. You know, just got to endure these times right now. You know, so you have any closing words, any scriptures, Elder Dimash?
Oh, no, sir. No, sir.
All right. So with that, you know, we pray that your brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time we say, Shalom.